प्रथमः प्रश्नः। हरिः ओम्। सुकेशा च भारद्वाजश्रेभ्यश्च सत्यकामः सौर्यायणी च गार्ग्यः कौसल्यश्चाश्वलायनः भार्गवो वैदर्भिः कबन्धी कात्यायनस्ते हैते ब्रह्मपरा ब्रह्मनिष्ठाः परं ब्रह्मान्वेषमाणा एषः वै तत्सर्वं वक्ष्यतीति तेह समित्पाणयो भगवन्तं पिप्पलादमुपसन्नाः। तान् हस ऋषिरुवाच भूय एव तपसा ब्रह्मचर्येण श्रद्धया संवत्सरं संवत्स्यथ यथा कामं प्रश्नान् पृच्छथ यदि विज्ञास्यामः सर्वं भवो वक्ष्याम इति। अथ कबन्धी कात्यायन उपेत्य पप्रच्छ भगवन् कुतो ह वा इमाः प्रजाः प्रजायन्त इति। तस्मै स होवाच प्रजाकामो ह वै प्रजापतिः सतपोतप्यत स तपस्तप्त्वा समिथुनमुत्पादयते रयिं च प्राणं चेति। एतौ मे बहुधा प्रजाः करिष्यत इति। आदित्यो ह वै प्राणो रयिरेव चन्द्रमाः रयिर्वा एतत्सर्वं यन्मूर्तं चामूर्तं च तस्मान्मूर्तिरेव रयिः। अथादित्य उदयन् यत्प्राचीं दिशं प्रविशति तेन प्राच्यान् प्राणान् रश्मिषु सन्निधत्ते। यद्दक्षिणं यत्प्रतीचिं यदुदीचिं यदधो यदूर्ध्वं यदन्तरादिशः यत्सर्वं प्रकाशयति तेन सर्वान् प्राणान् रश्मिषु सन्निधत्ते। स एष वैश्वानरो विश्वरूपप्राणोऽग्निरुदयते तदेतदृचाभ्युक्तम्। विश्वरूपं हरिणं जातवेदसम्परायणं ज्योतिरेकं तपन्तम् सहस्ररश्मिः शतधा वर्तमानः प्राणः प्रजानामुदयत्येष सूर्यः।
हरि ओम्। So the Prashnopanishad, the 6 students who approached the revered Guru Pippalada in the first mantra drives home 2 essential qualities. One, what are the qualities required for a sadhak, for a seeker? Secondly, what are the perfect qualities of a guru? What makes one a true guru? So these young men who sought this wisdom, they were well established in the lower practices, which is the aparavidya, which is performing the various rituals, performing saguna upasana, were well established in the bhakti marga. See, bhakti marga only talks about Saguna upasana. Real bhakti is nirguna upasana. But the majority, what they perceive, bhakti is, imagine you go into your prayer room and your prayer room is so well decorated, but there's no altar in the prayer room. You wouldn't have an altar room with a prayer room with an altar. You can't go to a temple and expect the sanctum sanctorum to be without a deity to worship. So these men were well established in the various asanas, the various spiritual practices, as we mentioned. They perhaps have taken up the great various pilgrimages to these holy sites. So they have done all of that. They have got exhausted. They knew that their end is limited. So, having fulfilled their aparavidya, they approach the Guru for paravidya, which is the higher wisdom. And in the first mantra, he qualifies that they have approached the Guru with faggots in hand, with fuel in hand. A very important quality, a very important, essential quality of a sadhak, of a seeker, to approach a guru with utter humility, with an ability to serve. This is not a quality, this is not, in fact, no man worth a guru will ever tell a student to serve him or the cause. My guru never told me to serve this cause. It was a choice made by me that I want to serve this cause. So no guru will ever tell a student to serve him or the cause. So it is a prerequisite of the student to have even before you receive the knowledge, which is very much evident in all these orthodox traditional textbooks, that the student should approach with that bhavana, with that spirit. So to the extent the student is qualified, to that extent the knowledge will serve the purpose. The knowledge will be given. When a guru gives, the knowledge is not given conditionally. Unconditionally is given. The knowledge is given to one and all. But who amongst you is benefiting most from this transaction? Those of you who are ideal as a student. Like in the last class, I'm just giving a recap of the first mantra and then we'll get into the second mantra, where we learned that he talks of the three qualities in the fourth chapter, if I'm not wrong, right? The Gita we quoted, Prashnena, Pranipatena, Sevaya. At the intellectual level, you must question. At the mental level, create enough atmosphere of devotion that you don't challenge the Guru in his practices, in his teachings, in his systems. Your head should not come and interfere with the route taken by the Guru. Who is your standard? Which Guru will you take as a standard? Which methodology is a standard? Who would you take as a benchmark? So you should never have any benchmark. You should never have any standard. You should never project one personality on the other. Each one is different. Which Guru is right? Who is to decide which Guru is right? Which methodology is right? Nobody can determine. So the questioning should continue, but not to the point. I did make the statement last week. The questioning should continue, not to the, but it should not dislodge your faith in the path and the Guru and the teachings. The moment your questioning is dislodging the faith, bestowed onto the Guru and the teachings, that questioning is lost its purpose. So question so that you understand the teachings, but not to dislodge your faith. So intellectually one must question, mentally you must surrender, physically you must serve. And none of these qualities the Guru will tell you that you must have. You come with these qualities, that is when you become worthy of a student. And that's very well symbolized with faggots in hand. And when I say this, I have to thank the Purva Janma, Purva Karma. What I have done, I do not know. As you all know, I got into this knowledge at a very young age, very ripe age. At 16, I got to my Guru. I was completely unadulterated. I was in so naive. So whatever was given was received in its, like a child receiving from any source of influence. After I finished the 3 years, there's a small ritual I did share at times, but I find it apt to, I'm recalling of this experience of mine. There's a certificate given because it's a 3-year diploma that is done, and the students were given this certificate. Usually the certificates are given in the auditorium after a lecture in presence of the class. So your successful completion is appreciated by everybody. But for some reason, that event did not happen in classroom because it, well, I don't know for what reason, but then I was invited to Swamiji's chambers that he would give me in person. So I was not prepared that it would happen. I got a call. I said, Swamiji is calling. I don't know what I was being called for. I went there. The certificates were ready. He handed over to me in private, and I took it. I took his blessings, and then we sat and just had a casual conversation. And as I said, I was not prepared for it. And these were the words that came from my heart. I said, Swamiji, I am so extremely grateful for what knowledge you have given, what this institution has provided me. And I don't know in what way I can thank you and in what way I can reciprocate. I don't know how can I pay you back. And I'm burdened with that indebtedness I have and I owe you for the knowledge you're given. That's all I said. Believe me. And for the next half an hour, he kept sharing some experiences. He started telling me about the quality which I expressed then. And then interestingly, he started taking names of my colleagues who studied with me, who completed the course. And he said, before I say that, he said, the fact that you want to pay back this knowledge, he said, you already paid me back. That thought is going to protect you in your life. That thought of not taking it for granted. When I gave this knowledge, I did not say you must pay this fee, you must do this, you must do that. You came and you received and you are leaving. And while you're leaving, you are indebted by it. You are burdened by a thought that I have taken so much and I want to do something. And he started telling of those students who did not have this thought of paying back. And he told me, this knowledge will not serve them. It will not serve them for the purpose of their own upliftment because they are mere takers. And those words keep ringing in my words again and again that I must continuously keep serving this knowledge. So that spirit of what can I do? Sitting where you are, can you for a moment think, what can I do to serve this knowledge? What can I do to serve this cause? Not because somebody has given you or you're benefited, but that comes even before the Guru has given you anything. That is what is so beautifully exemplified by the quality of the disciples or the students approaching the Guru with faggots in hand. The Guru did not tell them. And upon so, then in the first mantra, the Gurus lay strict conditions that you must wait for another year even before I consider answering your questions. So all these qualities will go a long way. And my example Swami used to give is, when you do construction, especially in this part of the world, where a lot of cement and gravel and you have the sand that is mixed for building buildings. In some other part, in certain countries, there's a lot of wood used. Perhaps only the foundation you use that. But you find when any building is constructed, what is more important after the construction is you cure the construction. So you find these workers pouring so much water. The water that cures the structure, and what gives solidarity to the structure is the water. I may use the best quality cement, but if I don't cure the structure will lose its strength and vitality. It becomes brittle and it'll give way because of sheer weight in time. It'll buckle. So he used to say that curing is your service. If you don't do seva, if you don't serve, that very knowledge that you're receiving you will be burdened by the knowledge and you'll buckle. So what will protect you? I'm trying to be very candid to the point, which is almost taken for granted, is keep a check on what am I doing to serve this cause, which is only going to make you worthy of receiving this knowledge. Otherwise, the very knowledge that is coming your way, it will drop away because there will be an imbalance in the head and the heart. The three qualities I said: at the intellectual level, you question; at the mental level, be devoted. But what will create a balance between the head and the heart is the physical quality of service. I'm trying to draw a missing link. If the physical quality of serving the cause is not acted on, there will be an imbalance between the head and the heart. Either your intellect will dislodge your faith, or your superstition will accept things blindly. So there is an importance of the head and heart is paramount. So to those students, he said, stay here for 1 year. Then he spells out the qualities: austerity, celibacy, and faith. Brahmacharya, tapasa, and shraddhaya. If you recall, we described tapas as a mental discipline, celibacy as a physical discipline, and faith or shraddha as intellectual discipline. I suppose this is how you wrote down. Because in certain textbooks, you will find there is a interpretation. They interpret brahmacharya as a mental discipline. Celibacy, they describe celibacy as a mental discipline and tapas as a physical discipline. It can be reversed. You can put it either way. If you don't understand, then it doesn't matter which way you put it. For some of you, you may not understand, so never mind. But what we said, tapas, what we define tapas? Tapas is defined as conservation of your energy, which gets dissipated into unproductive channels. And having conserved that energy, you redirect it to something more meaningful. And this is described as a mental quality. So, where are your energies being dissipated? What is it that your mind keeps worshipping, where your energy gets consumed? That is a mental discipline. Now, celibacy is brahmacharya, brahmani charanti iti, means I lead a life in a particular manner where I withdraw from any unnecessary, unhealthy, sensual, and materialistic activities. Unhealthy and unnecessary sensual activities, because you go to a restaurant, eat food also is sense activity, you know. You may say, oh, sir, I should not go out and eat food. I should not wear comfortable garments. I should breathe unhealthy smell. Does it mean am I to punish myself for my sense contact? No, no, not at all. Whatever is a impediment in your thought of Brahman, whatever is an impediment of thought of Brahman, so you lead life in such a manner, Brahmani charanti iti, that is brahmacharya. So you lead life of withdrawing yourself of sense indulgences, so that you can revel in the thought of Brahman. And then lastly, Shraddhaya is the faith. Faith, even though is a quality which is translated as Shraddha in English, but Shraddha is a very difficult quality to cultivate. All of you may have faith in this knowledge, but I don't know how many of you have Shraddha in this knowledge, including myself. Do I have the Shraddha in this knowledge? Shraddha is, as I've said, the capacity to pursue something till you get to the end of it. That sense of commitment to the path and pursuit. Shraddha is the capacity to pursue something till the end. And why do we call it as an intellectual discipline? Many people don't park this under intellectual discipline. Faith is they say you must have bhakti, you must have faith in the Lord or the Guru or the text. In that sense, they say. But they don't say Shraddha is an intellectual quality. It's very important you understand. Why is it said to be intellectual quality? Anybody who has an answer? Yes, Ramji.
Hariam, sir. I can only think that it is a quality which controls the physical and mental disciplines. If you are committed at the intellectual level, then the next two are managed well, because it is the intellectual capacity which controls your mind and your actions.
Absolutely right. But in what way the intellectual capacity will ensure reaching the goal? In that specific context, can you be a little clear?
It keeps you what we say uh, the that focus on
Blinkers.
it keeps you from that like he said, ananyaschanta yantomam. That means you don't think of anything else. That is.
It's like the blinkers, right?
Yeah.
You call the blinkers of these horses in the race courses, right? That's what they have.
Single-minded devotion.
Single-minded purpose.
purpose.
So the blinkers that help for the horses not to get distracted of all that's happening around them and just see the track ahead.
Yeah.
So the intellect control over the mind, as you rightly said, ensures the mind doesn't get
Distracted.
carried away, distracted with many things that it gets. That's the nature of the mind. No, the nature of the mind is to get attached. The nature of the mind is to run away from where you want it to be. Like right now, your mind can be not in the classroom. It is possible that your mind has just gone away from the classroom for a moment. So the job of the intellect is to keep the mind pursuing the goal until the goal is reached. That means the mind should be under such a control. You know, Swamiji used to say this of his. There was a time where, in fact, people used to tell there's only one more person who traveled more than you. Somebody commented to Swamiji. Only the pilot must have traveled more than you, Swamiji said. In the 5 decades of his spreading of this knowledge and his works, he kept on going place to place. Why am I talking of that example? See, my mind got lost track. What was I saying?
You were talking of faith,
No.
commitment to that blinkers.
No, why I quoted
To
Swamiji?
keep the mind in its place.
Huh?
The intellect to keep the mind in its focused place, like the blinkers and that you were comparing.
My mind is not in
How
its
the
place.
mind keeps on wavering and moving.
This is a proof that your mind can go anywhere. Suddenly I talked of Swamiji, my mind has gone somewhere. I don't know what I'm talking. I don't know. I'm missing that connect. Why I quoted something you said, Ramji, last. I was referring to this. What were you saying last?
I was only saying what did I say? I mean,
Correct, sir. We are in the same boat, sir. Now, hopefully, this disease doesn't spread to others in the classroom. Surejji, one condition you'll be unmuted that you don't add to the confusion. We're already confused, sir. I'm sorry. Can you please unmute again?
No, in the context of that consistency of purpose, that intellectual discipline, you referred to Swamiji. It was that intellectual discipline which made him travel more than a pilot for 50 years.
No, that was
spreading
not.
the knowledge. That was his commitment and intellectual discipline.
I didn't want to mention that in this context which you're referring, but there's something around that. If it flashes back, I'll tell you. You know,
because when the student traveled with you in that thought process, this inference becomes inevitable.
There was something else I wanted to drive home. Maybe it'll come back. So the importance of the intellect, thanks, Sureji. The importance of Shraddha is the belief. Correct. I get it now. See, of having traveled the world for so many years, in different parts, having seen different parts of the world with different cultures, meeting people from different backgrounds, he used to tell, and I have experienced this personally. He used to say that certain Western cultures have this inborn quality of Shraddha.
Yeah.
It is an inborn quality of Shraddha, and he used to attribute this as their inbuilt trait. It is the secret of their achievement of worldly success, whatever they achieve. And I'll give you an example. If I give you a job of painting, you give a job in the ashram. I always, apart from being in the kitchen department helping, the other department I used to help was painting. And I used to be with my colleague, an Australian called Reed. 6 foot 4 inches, that fellow. In front of him, I was a Lilliput, and we were very close buddies. And we used to go about painting. And I used to enjoy painting, not artwork, but painting walls, buildings, furniture, anything. We would go and take these paint cans and do. And there was a project of painting Swamiji's room. He was away for 3 weeks overseas, so his living room was to be painted. And after he came back, he called those who painted his room. It was me and Reed, both of us painted his room. And after we went and he clarified things and he brought up this idea and he explained in the lecture about Shraddha and the job of painting in his room. He said, if I had given this job to any South Indian fellow to paint, what is the first job you must do before you start painting? Enna Shivaji, what is it that you do? Don't go and say, buy the paint.
Scrape the walls.
I knew. Number South Indian, what's the first thing you do? You're true South Indian, sir. Don't change.
Nothing wrong.
How wrong? I'm not saying right or wrong. What is the first
South
thing
Indian,
you do
North Indian.
project
As
of
long
painting?
as I'm an Indian human being, it's fine.
I'm not on a lighter note, as I said, there is no insult or no pun on the word of being an Indian or South Indian, but
No such
the quality
things,
of
Dinesh.
Shraddha. Yeah. No, but how Westerners had this quality of Shraddha, how it is not an inborn quality in Indians. Amongst us, it's not there. So he used to say, the first quality, first thing that even before you start painting, you take that tape. You take the tape and you start taping all the areas where you don't want the paint to be seen, especially the wooden furniture, your switchboards, where you don't want the paint to touch, you tape all those borders. You will spend first 2 days taping very well. And his room was all carpeted. So you had to ensure there was no paint spilled in any part of the carpet, whether be it the lights or the AC or the switches and the buttons and whatnot. This is a thumb rule. And I learned a lot from Reed. And then comes all the process of cleaning, and you cover up everything. After the painting is done, remove the non-marking tapes and take a cleaner to remove, if at all there is any dirt marks, any paint marks. So the painting job is not done until the cleaning is done and the furniture is put back in its position where it's meant to be. That is Shraddha. Shraddha starts with the job and ends with the job of making sure even the last stain is not there. If you give this to an Indian, that fellow will not tape. He will spill paint all over. Now, if you don't believe me, the office room in the Wisdom Institute is being painted. Please come. Because the place was seeping with water for all these years, we were not able to sit and operate there, and we waited until the summer comes for us to repaint it. Shailajamma, you're coming to the institute later on for the meeting. I'll show you. You see I hope this fellow has not ended up cleaning. Otherwise, it will be. I want to prove a point to you. He painted a wall. The whole railing is full of paint. I said, what the heck? Can't you put a tape? Tape is there. I told you tape is there. Plastic cover is there. Why didn't you tape? No, Guruji, it is very easy to clean with water. I'll clean with water. He did not tape any switchboard. Thank God, he put some tape, put some plastic on it. No Shraddha. And interestingly, what would happen is we're all taking up voluntary jobs. I will start paint one wall, midway leave the wall and take up some other job. So only one wall is painted, other wall is not complete. Wall is painted, cleaning is not done. So this kind of imperfection in the job, if you start something, I would not do anything But that ability to take up a job and go to the very end of job is Shraddha. If you can't exhibit this in worldly activities, it is impossible for you to have the Shraddha in spiritual pursuits. Perhaps it is like walking on a razor's edge, as they say. You need to have that unflinching commitment that I will reach my goal in spite of any obstacles that come my way, that I will not lose my focus. My mind may have many interests, many attractions, but I will not allow my mind to develop any distractions. I want to reach my goal of Brahman. It may not be achieved in this Janma, but remember, till my last breath, I will only be seeking this Brahma Vidya. I'll only be seeking this as my primary goal. I may do many things. Not that I will only be sitting and doing bhajans whole 365 days, 24 hours a day, most boring, morose life. I don't want to be a person like that. I want to be a man of action. I want to be a man everywhere. But in and through everything I do, I will sustain the spine of my pursuit, the spine of my life, which is Brahma Vidya, to reach my goal. So I may do many things, but I will not get myself distracted doing many things. That Shraddha, whatever I do, I will want to go to the end of it. That too is directly proportional to your intellectual strength, because it's only the strength of the intellect that can control, manage, and keep the mind in its place. Otherwise, your mind will start dancing to the various temptations, the various desires, the various things that come your way. Your mind will lose focus. So the capacity not to lose focus and pursue your goal, whatever be the goal, that is determined by Shraddha. So stay here for 1 year with austerity, with celibacy and faith. Then you may ask me as you please your questions. If I know, I shall explain everything to you. This is what the Guru says. Extremely modest for a Guru. No ego, no vanity. And then he assures the students, Sarvam Vakshyamaha, I shall explain everything to you. Very wholesome by itself, the mantra. Okay? Mantra 3, please.
श्याम इति अथ कबन्धे कात्यायन उपेत्य पप्रच्छ भगवन् कुतो ह वा इमाः प्रजाः प्रजायन्त इति.
Atha, then. So between mantra 2 and mantra 3, 1 year has passed. And by the word Atha, then obviously that's understood that the 1 year has passed. Katyayana, one of the disciples of the 6 of them, Katyayana Kabandhi, approached him, referred to the Guru, and asked, O revered master, whence are these creatures born? Prajayante, prajaha, prajayante. Whence? Kutaha. Kutaha means from whence are these prajaha creatures, prajayante, born? Seemingly innocuous question, but don't be fooled by the innocuous nature of what it seems to be. So having tuned their receptacles, having tuned their personality of the 3 qualities of austerity, tapas, austerity, and Shraddha, which is to tune in their mental, physical, and intellectual qualities. The student is asking the question, what's the cause? In effect, he's asking, what is the cause of the pluralistic phenomena that I see? What is the cause of the pluralistic phenomena that I see? What is the cause of this? Now, to this question, I have a begging question. The question is, who can ask this question? Who can ask such a question? The question the student is asking, I repeat, the question the student is asking is, what is the cause of this pluralistic phenomenon? What is the cause of all that I see, these creatures? What's its cause? Now, to this question I'm asking, who can ask this question? It's a very serious question. Who can ask this question? Something is understood. I'm only trying to bring out something which perhaps is taken for granted. You're also students. I'm also a student. Here's another student. When you sit in the chowpatty, as they say, in a cross junction, and see all that maddening happening, all the rush, all the running, all the crowd, all the chaos, would you ask this question, where did all this madness come from? What is all this madness? When can you ask such a question? Whence this madness of this world? I'm just rephrasing it. Whence this madness of this rat race? What is all this going on? Who can ask that question? Ashwati, hope you are secure on the bridge. I've been very worried for you all the time from the last half an hour.
Hi, Guruji.
You didn't answer my question. Are you secure on the bridge?
Yes, I'm secure, Guruji.
What bridge are you talking about?
This San Francisco, the Golden Gate.
Thank you. That means we are in the same classroom, correct? Now tell me answer the question.
Yeah. So who can ask the question, what is the cause of this pluralistic phenomenon? I think someone who can take a step back with a peaceful mind and want to know what is beyond the worldly happenings. Someone who's appreciative of what they see, but also want to know how this is created.
Stay on to the bridge.
Yeah.
It's a good vantage point you've got. So what did you say? I like the choice of words. What did you say first? That who has a certain peace of mind? Who?
Yes. Somebody who's able to take a step back and who has the ability. Yeah.
The moment you are able to take a step back, what do you become? You become the observer. An observer is one who is not caught up in the madness of the happenings. What is this madness going on, man? Why are you running like a chicken without a head? Why are you running? What is this restlessness? What is this madness? Who can do it? Only one who is not running, no? If he is also running with the madness, pushing this fellow, pushing that fellow, jumping signals, honking, this one, what run, I must get there, that kind of hoo-ha you create. If you are caught up and if you're one amongst them, you will not be able to observe the madness around you because you're also contributing to the madness. But one who is not caught up in it means one who is able to take a step back and observe the whole happenings and say, why is this happening? What is the very cause of it? So what is understood is one who can ask this question. Very good, Ashwati. one who is not caught up. So the essential quality is you must be objective to the whole happenings. So if you want to ask what is the cause for all this world, this phenomenon, I must not be caught up in the creation itself. You must be extremely objective and examine not only the happening, question the very cause of it. An intellect which is caught up in the quagmire of perceptions cannot question the very cause of perception. One who is caught up in the creation cannot ask the cause of creation. So you must not be caught. So the quality of being detached is being highlighted, which perhaps we may not understand by the fact such a question is asked. So the intellectual inquiry to seek the very cause, the source of all creation. So in effect, he's asking why and wherefore of this pluralistic phenomenon. A very, very famous question. And I would strongly recommend, I have often quoted, I hope some of you have procured it. I would recommend you to read the third volume, In Woods of God Realization by Swami Ramatirtha. If there's one man who has done justice to this question, it is Swami Ramatirtha. In the book volumes, the volumes of 7 books is called In Woods of God Realization. All of his lectures were transcripted and compiled. He didn't write a word. He only lectured. In early 1901, 1902, he traveled to Japan and US, and most of his lectures there were transcripted. And those lectures are in 7 books in Woods of God Realization. Get hold of it immediately. 7 books. And in that, there is a chapter called Maya, Why and Wherefore of the World. Why and Wherefore of the World in 3rd volume. And that's precisely is the question that my student is asking here. So how did this whole world come about? Why, whence this world? So the entire chapter, this specific chapter, how many mantras this chapter has got? This chapter has got 16 mantras, and 16 mantras the master guru dedicates in answering this first question. And you will find various, if you read these Upanishads, you will find great masters, they gave various theories just to appease and satisfy any curiosity. What is the standard theory we were given? How did the world come about? The standard theories we have heard. How that you don't have to be a Vedanta student? You would have heard this. What are the standard theories we heard? Haresh, you know?
I was going to say what Ramji just posted, the Big Bang Theory. That's what I also heard from my.
No, you don't hear of any other theory. How did all these creatures come about? No. See, theories usually don't have a rational explanation. They're just theories. Where did we hear of Adam and Eve? You heard that?
Yes.
What theory is that?
He was tempted to eat that apple he was told not to, and went against that. And that was
You're
like
already feeling hungry, is it?
no. That was like a curse when he ate that fruit, and then it all started.
No, I didn't know of this apple theory. Never mind, this is a new theory that's coming about. Huh? Arunama, what is the theory? Thanks, Harish.
Hari Om Guruji.
Yes, Mario.
Thought about the theory of evolution.
What is theory of evolution?
How from the smallest organisms then to the maximum human beings are born, starting from the one-celled amoeba, and it goes on like that. It gets evolved, and finally the human beings are reached. The cells keep multiplying, and that's how.
No, I don't want to hear his theory of evolution. I want to know Adam and Eve.
That when we say God created.
What is God created? Adam and Eve. What did he do? He produced two donkeys and they kept producing. He produced two monkeys, they kept producing. Two giraffes, they kept producing. Like that, no? Like that, we have overpopulation. Correct? Huh?
Yes, Guruji.
That's a theory, no?
That's a common man's theory.
Upanishad also is no different from a common man. That's why I want to establish this. Now you read the fourth mantra, you'll understand what I'm saying. You think he will be the master will be giving a high-flown philosophical answer to the Upanishadic question. He was going to say the same thing. Because it's important, the guru speaks the language and the tone what the student is asking and slowly take from there. He suddenly can't blast off the higher philosophy. So he starts with what the student is asking, he starts that way. Very interesting. You see how he is going to answer this. Okay, thanks, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Fourth mantra, please.
प्रथमः प्रद्धया श्याम इति अथ कबन्धे कात्यायन उपेत्य पप्रच्छ भगवन् कुतो ह वा इमाः प्रजाः प्रजायन्त इति तस्मै स होवाच प्रजाकामो ह वै प्रजापतिः सतपोतप्यत सतपस्तप्त्वा समिथुनमुत्पादयते रयिं च प्राणं चेति एतौ मे बहुधा प्रजाः करिष्यत इति.
To him he said, Prajapati, the Lord of creatures, desirous of progeny, performed penance, and he created a pair. The pair of matter and prana, that they would produce creatures in many. That's all. Prana, which is the energy, and Rayi, which is matter, they both got together and created creatures in many. So this can be considered as yet another theory. And this is responsible for the various creatures that are born. So he is not giving you any staggering philosophical answer as to when this world has started. So he's talking of Prajapati. Who is Prajapati? Prajapati is the creator. The creator, out of his own penance, what he did, he created a pair of matter and prana. The prana is being interpreted here as energy. Rayi is matter. So when a student asks, how did the world come about? These great masters had various theories just to satisfy the inquirer. So much so, when somebody asked, who created the world? The standard answer they would give is, who created the world? Vanita, can I ask you this question? Who created the world? One of the answers they would give is, from a layman's perspective.
We used to say when young we say the God created the world.
Correct. Don't grow out of it. Remain there. Nothing wrong with it. When you say, who created the world? They say, God created the world. Appa, thank you very much. Oh, what a wonderful answer that is. There ends the inquiry. Correct? Huh? Thereafter, you never asked a question beyond that, isn't it?
Yes.
No, please, I'm sorry to say, please grow out of it. Now, nobody ever asked the question, who is God? What is God? Because when you say God created the world, okay, Brahman created the world, very good. Now you have grown out of God, you're calling Brahman. Oh, who is Brahman? Who is that God? An ordinary inquirer will not be satisfied, will not be content when you say God created the world. So any one of us in this classroom should not be and will not be satisfied to accept that a creator perhaps sitting behind the clouds and he did some penance and he created you and me. And such endless diversities of creations have come about. This is not satisfying. This is not acceptable to a rational mind or intellect. For a true inquirer, he will not be satisfied by a mere theory. Because God is still an unknown factor. How can you be content with a mere postulation? Isn't it?
Sure.
So you and I should not be satisfied thinking that Prajapati, okay, you say Prajapati, okay, a fancy name. He is a lord of creation, okay, he has got a title. What he did some penance, he produced two things and they created the whole world. No, a Vedantin will not accept this. So you should not accept it. But please understand, it is just a theory. Okay. All right. Yeah, good. Now, what is the philosophical standpoint for the creation? This we must understand this. What is the philosophical standpoint for the creation of the world? The world has existence only when the mind is projecting it and backing it. I repeat, the world has existence only when the mind is projecting and backing it. The waking and the dream worlds are existing only because of the mind. After a long day of work, when the mind is fatigued and tired, and when the mind rolls up, what happens to the waking and dream? You go into deep sleep. What happens to the waking and dream? Swapna is a dream, Jagrata is the waking state. What happens to them? There's no more the world, isn't it? All the fatigue and the tiredness, all the solidarity of the waking world is gone. All the problems and challenges of the world is no more bothering you. What happens to the world? The entire world folds back into nothingness when you're in deep sleep. And again, when the mind wakes up from that sleep, the worlds of plurality also wake up, isn't it? So when the mind rolls up, There is no more the world. When the mind wakes up, the world wakes up. So there are two words in Sanskrit, which is called Prabhava and Pralaya. Vasantama, what do they mean? Prabhava and Pralaya.
Hariom. Prabhava is the awakening, the creation. Pralaya is destruction, total.
Dissolution. So the dissolution and the awakening, the creation. So what is the Pralaya of subjective Pralaya?
Subjective Pralaya? When there is no mind.
When your mind is gone into deep sleep, it is called a subjective Pralaya. Can we not say that? Subjective is individual. My mind, when there is a dissolution, which is Pralaya of the subjective mind, my world is extinct. When the subjective mind's Prabhava, which is the creation, when the mind wakes up,
the
whole world wakes up. Prabhava, the creation happens, isn't it?
All projection of our mind, the whole thing.
Your world is a projection of your mind.
Yeah,
the question is
your world. Yes.
Obviously your world. The world, you can't talk of any other world because the world only is from your point of view. What is the world is you're seeing. So the student is asking, whence this whole world has come about? He said, Prajapati created two things and from that the world has come. That's a theory. Put that aside. Now we are talking what Vedanta says. The Vedanta says, the logic, the philosophy is, it is the Prabhava and Pralaya that is responsible for the microcosm and the macrocosm as well. So the subjective is micro. So the micro dissolution dissolves the world. The micro awakening wakes up the world. The world comes about, the creation of the world. Harish, you look lost.
I am a bit lost in this part.
Where are you lost?
You're saying for the microcosm and macrocosm. I'm lost in this specific area just now.
You're lost in the micro and the macro, is it?
Yes.
No, I have not yet come to the macro. I'm only talking of micro. Micro is individual. Yes. What we're saying is the individual's world, whether be it the waking or the dream, happens only when the mind backs it, right?
Yes.
When your mind goes to sleep, the waking world and the dream world doesn't exist, which is in deep sleep. So we are only giving a technical word for that. The dissolution of the world is known as pralaya. Pralaya is dissolution. Prabhava is creation. Now we are qualifying the word prabhava and pralaya as subjective prabhava, subjective pralaya, which is when I sleep, the whole world sleeps. When I wake up, the whole world wakes up. For whom? For me, obviously. It's not for anybody else. Isn't it?
Correct. Yes.
The same principle happens at the macro level as well. The macro level, what is the macro level? Okay, Harish, are you okay here till micro?
Yes, sir. The micro is the individual, which is me.
Okay, now let me expand a little bit on micro here. Now, let's say there are two people. One is a criminal, another is a saint. When a criminal goes to sleep and a saint goes to sleep, when the saint wakes up and the criminal wakes up, what does a criminal wake up as?
As a criminal.
A saint also will wake up as a saint.
Yes.
So when the criminal goes to sleep and when he wakes up, he will be compelled by the desires with which he slept, isn't it?
Yeah.
He will end up entertaining those criminal motives. He will end up entertaining vulgar thoughts and destructive actions. Why? Because of the vasanas and desires he slept with. He woke up as the same person. So the world will continue, and the world is defined by what thoughts and vasanas you have. A saint, having slept as a saint, will wake up as a saint. And he will, why does he wake up as a saint? Because he continues to entertain the thoughts and vasanas of a saint, where he performs divine actions. His thoughts are pure and forgiving in nature.
Yeah.
So the worlds of a criminal and the worlds of a saint are defined by the thoughts the criminal entertains, the thoughts the saint entertains. So the world is purely defined by your thoughts. And it is furthermore to say the world is a projection of your mind. This is the rational conclusion to this Vedantic concept of creation. The world that you're experiencing, the world you're interpreting. I may not be a criminal, but if you see me a criminal, I appear criminal to you because your thoughts of criminality are projected on me. If I appear a saint to you, is because of your saintly thoughts, you're projecting saintlyhood on me. So it's not what I am, is what you perceive it to be. Isn't it? The world is purely defined and qualified by your thoughts, and that's what you experience. Therefore, the world is a projection of your mind, and when the mind falls back, there is no more the world. This is the micro prabhava, micro pralaya. Right?
Yes. So, Guruji, when we judge people, we create impressions on people, or we have judgment. That means we are all projecting it based on our mind, what we see that person as. That's why we are judging people.
Most likely. Therefore, we are told to assess but not judge. So if you assess people, to a large extent, one may not go wrong. But if you judge people, usually judgment is prejudiced by a certain thing.
Yeah, yeah. Our own discrimination, basically.
Our own thought processes. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Now, yes, sir. Thank you. Now I want somebody to answer the question: what is the macro prabhava, macro pralaya? So the same creative power that is there at the micro level, what is that creative power at the macro level called as? Gayatri Ma, what is it called?
It's the collective vasana.
What is it called?
Same in the waking world appears for the collective, it is prabhava, again pralaya.
You can say again, Prabhu, but what is that term? What could you call in the context of the verse? This is always important to me in the context. You're not wrong. You're giving the collective vasanas is macrocosm. Mahat. Mahat is a totality. You can say that. But Mahat doesn't talk about creation resolution, Ramji. Mahat is a collective thought. But we're talking about what is the macrocosmic creation resolution. What's the term for that? Yes, sir. Yes, Ramji, you can clarify.
No, I don't have any answer, sir. I think the same terms are used, but
So in the context of the mantra, the macrocosmic creation resolution is known as Hiranyagarbha or Prajapati.
no.
Prajapati is the one who's creating the macrocosm, no? Samasti, the entire, the samastha you can call, the samasti, that is created because of Prajapati, the lord of creatures. So the macrocosmic lord of creation is Prajapati. The whole world is not just my world, everybody's worlds. Collective is macrocosm, which Gayatri said is collective vasanas. So it will be rather difficult the moment I blow it up to macrocosm, it gets blurred. So don't worry of it. Come back quickly to microcosm. When you come back to the microcosm, the concept becomes clear. Oh, yes, the world is a projection of my mind, correct. When the mind rolls up, there's no other world. When the mind wakes up, the world comes up. Same principle applies to the whole over the creation. Not only me, everybody is awake. Let's say, talking of this hemisphere, 3 billion people are awake. India itself 1.5 billion. Add other hemisphere to this part of the world, another half of the world is awake. How is it possible that everybody is awake? That is the Prabhava Pralaya happening at the macro level. And that is calling as Prajapati, the creator. He is his creation. He woke up, the whole Prabhava woke up, the whole world woke up. When he goes to sleep, the whole world goes to sleep. Just like when you go to sleep, your world shrinks to nothingness. The same thing applicable at the macro level.
So it is the deep sleep of the Prajapati, is it?
It is a deep sleep, which is known as Prabhava.
Prabhava.
Pralaya, sorry. Pralaya is a dissolution. Prabhava is awakening. Pralaya is a dissolution. So the deep sleep of the Prajapati is
Pralaya.
Pralaya. It's a fascinating concept. But you know where theories end, where rationality begins. So that's why if I did not mention of the rational Vedantic concept of what is the cause of creation of the world, I'm not going into the ignorance of Brahman, all that. That's another argument. We don't want to get into that. Some point we may get into again. But at this point, we must understand what is responsible for the creation. So Pralaya and Prabhava at the micro and macro, if we understand this, to what extent we understand, to this extent, if we understand, we are good. And what is, he talks about creating a pair of Rai and Prana. I will come back to it and take it up in the next satsang. Because he explains in the fifth mantra what that is, but he mentions it here and he clarifies in the fifth mantra and so on. Okay. We will come back. We'll come back. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ओम्। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्।